Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of VetsPlusSports.com. This is your host, Terrell Cool Beans Davis, along with my co-host, Mr. James Miller.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing this Saturday night? Hope y'all doing well. Before we get in this episode, I'll let Cool Beans do a shout out to our listeners.
All right, we like to thank those that come on here to watch the live. Thank y'all for giving us your undivided attention, and those that'll watch the replay. And also for our radio edition, even though we gone, I think it's 3 weeks now. Or
Yep,
is it two?
it's
Might be
probably going
three.
on three.
3 weeks we haven't done a radio edition. I am sorry. It's been my fault. This car messing me up. But our faithful listeners are San Jose, California, Grinzak-Weilen, Germany, Brussels, Belgium, Ashburn, Virginia, Boardman, Oregon. I'm missing one. I know we have Washington, D.C., and L.A., but there's another one. I cannot think of it right now. But we thank y'all for listening.
Thank y'all for tuning in, and well, I'll just go ahead and start this episode out with congratulations to the Florida Panthers for winning the Stanley Cup. In Game 6, they took it, and now they said they were the favorites to do a three-peat for next year. Our buddy we work with, Wanzel, the hockey guy, said if Edmonton would go and get them some goalies, he said they'll be all right.
Hmm.
So in free agency, Edmonton needs to get. He said that one's all. He's young, I guess. He's in the works, but he said they needed some goalies. They didn't get none in the offseason.
Right.
So that wrapped it up for the hockey. And now it's all free agents with it. People will be moving around and everything else. Like I said, we're not big on hockey, so that'd be nice to get Wanzel on here. But I think this is past his bedtime. What do you think?
Yeah, him being a day shifter.
So, but that came to an end to the NHL season, and tomorrow night will be Game 7 in the NBA Finals. Um, in OKC, which I said this would go 7.
Mm-hmm.
I think you had 6, didn't you? Or did you have 7?
I did have 6.
But here it is. Um, I think this is going to be one to watch. I think. How much you think Halliburton's injury was it Game 1? He got injured, or Game 1 or Game 2.
I think it was game 2.
And how much you think it's played a factor as far as his play?
It really has because I don't remember what game it was. I think it was game 5 that I watched, and I remember the first half he was scoreless,
Yeah,
scoreless, and then I think he ended the game with like 11 points. It was a game that Indiana lost, and I was saying to myself, "Oh yeah, it's over, it's over." And
but
then they come back game 6 and they just shredded OKC.
but who you think's going to take? I mean, OKC's at home. It seems like the teams at home has been winning. Does OKC bring you a title home in OKC?
I don't know, cause see here I was gonna say it boils down to experience. Okay, both of these teams this is their first time being in the finals, but Pascal Siakam for Indiana won a championship with Toronto when he was with the Toronto Raptors, and then you look on OKC, you got Alex Caruso who won even though it was the bubble game, but he still got the championship with the Lakers in what was it 2020. We had the bubble in Orlando.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he has that title. So both of them have championship experience to where they can rouse up their team and hey, we got to get this done. But I think it's going to really be if Halliburton is still nursing that injury. I think OKC got it.
All right, remember, if I'm not mistaken, last Saturday night, I said Indiana would have to shut down Alexander and Williams
Mm-hmm.
for Game 6 for them to win,
Mm-hmm.
which they did that.
Yep.
Alexander had his probably, well, and it ain't a bad game. but it's not to what he's been averaging. Okay, and if you look at this, all right, Jalen Williams had 16 points in Game 6 on 6 of 13 shooting, which is not bad. That's 50%, pretty almost
Mm-hmm.
50%. Um, and Alexander had 21 points on 7 of 15 shooting, so 40 some percent. So that's not too bad as far as shot, but they didn't get no help nowhere else.
Right. And
Look
here's
at
the
the
thing.
lineup.
Jalen Williams, yeah, he got 16 in game 6. Game 5, he threw down 40 points.
And then and Alexander had 30. They had 70 or 75 points between the two.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what that's what I'm predicting is going to happen tomorrow night. I think them two are going to go off at home.
They
They'll
need
have
to.
they'll
If they
have
want to win, they
70
need to.
they'll have 70 plus between the two to bring the title home. But you're going to have some other key players. This is going to be all right. That score the other night was 108 to 91 Pacers. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to be like 130 to 120 something. It's going to be a high scoring game. Um, but Pacers have got to pick it up. I think for Pacers to have even a shot, even that game there when the Pacers won, um, Game 6. Let me get down to here. Their box scores. Siakam had 16 points. That was it. Okay. Uh, they got help all down through the lineup though. You had Newbert, he had 17. You had Hallburton, once again, he only had 14 points. He's got to start picking up the pace. 5 of 12 shooting. That's bad.
Yeah. But
That, that
I think the injury is playing into that.
And then Toppin off of the bench, he had 23 minutes. He had 20 points. And then you had McConnell he played 24 minutes off the bench and had 12 points. So they got a lot of their help coming from the bench. And when you look at it here, with the bench, what is that? 20, 32, 34, 41, 45, 4, I think 48, if my math is right, 48 points coming off the bench for the Pacers.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's almost half the score.
And so I'm going to say this, for the Pacers to win tomorrow night, Siakam, he's going to have to score 40 plus. And he's going to have to get help from Toppin and like the other ones, because Halliburton he ain't producing offensive wise. They're going to have to get Toppin going. They're going to have to get McConnell going. Some of the others, they're going to have to get help from them, and Siakam's going to have to drop 40 plus if they're going to they're going to win it.
Exactly. They need to play McConnell a little bit more than they play Halliburton, because Halliburton, I'm telling you, he's still hurt. He's hurt. So sit him down. He's not able to get everybody open like he usually do. He actually creates the scores and all that because he creates that offense. But if he's hurting it, he that's probably what it is.
And I just now noticed this for OKC in that game. And I don't know, he played 22 minutes. He had 0 points, and he has been a big factor in helping OKC. And that's Alex Caruso.
Oh yeah.
He only took 2 shots. He was 0 for 2, 0 points for 20, and had 22 minutes played. So I'm all right for OKC. We're going to do this. Key factors besides for OKC. You know your two big scores.
Yeah,
are
Shea and Jalen.
Yeah,
Shea and
so
Jalen.
I'm going to tell you my key factor player outside of those two to step up. Mine's going to be Aaron Wiggins. Have another big game.
Yep, he needs to step up.
So
Also, you know what?
Who's your guy going to be?
I got 2 guys on OKC that need to step it up. Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. Isaiah used to be a Knick.
Hogan fell off these playoff run. I mean,
He has.
Finals, before that he was doing good, but come to the finals, he has not produced. Like
Exactly.
So I agree with you there. Those two there, and they need to start producing. Which even if Wiggins can have a big game like he did, 25-point night, game 2, I think it was, or
Mm-hmm.
game 3, he had a 25-point night. Uh, if he can do that, pull it off, and help them out, I mean that's the key factor for them. Now going to the let's see here, Pacers. My other than I mean, man, they need some help. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I mean, they've only had. I mean, they've got help all down through here. Coming off the bench, they need big help from Toppin, like they have been in McConnell. That's your two big guys coming off the bench. But Hal Burton's got to step it up. He's got to
Yep.
get 30 points. He needs to be 25, 30 points in tomorrow's game. I know that injury's got to have a factor, but I mean he's got to step it up if they're going to win that title.
And take him some painkillers beforehand.
But and here's the thing there too. I mean, if he makes 3 more shots, 5 out of 12, which I'd make him at 12, then he's around 20 points.
Yeah.
But really, you look down through this lineup for the Pacers in that game. Yeah, they won this game, but the most shots taken was by Siakam, and he had 14. Is it? He was 6 of 14. Neesmith was 3 of 8. Turner 1 of 9. Niemerd had 5 of 7. Burton, he took some shots. He was 5 of 12. Toppin was 6 of 12. And then you had McConnell was 6 of 12. And then the others had a couple here and there. So, the Pacers with Burton, I think the injury, that's maybe changed it a little bit. Because, like, I'll go through these scores. Game 1, I did it, I think the week before last. Game 1, you know, it was 111 to 110 Pacers over the Thunder. And the Thunder beat the Pacers 123-107. Game 3, Pacers 116 to 107 over the Thunder. Then the Thunder beat the Pacers in Indiana 111 to 104. Then the Thunders beat the Pacers in Game 5 120 to 109. And then in Indiana, the Pacers beat the Thunder 108 to 91. And I'm looking for this to be in the 120s, a couple points. You know, probably like Game 1 maybe, but it's going to be close. Because I think they're all going to pour this out on the line. This is it, Game 7.
Yeah, they are. Call all the shots.
So I got OKC bringing a title home at home. But we'll see what happens. Who you got? OKC?
I got OKC just for the fact that the Pacers beat my Knicks, and I can't because I got a Knick on each team. I got Isaiah Hartenstein on the OKC, and I could have gone with Obi Toppin for the Pacers. But since the Pacers beat my Knicks, no, I'm not going for them.
All right, moving right along with we're in the NBA, but we're the women's NBA.
Oh yeah, I got some big news for this one.
Let me run some scores from last night.
Cool beans.
You know, I'm playing. Well, I did two teams with the women's NBA and fantasy and basketball. It is hard to keep up with it every day. You forget about it.
Yeah,
it's harder than football. But last night you had the Dream beating the Mystics. Look at this, 92 to 91.
I know that one was a killer for me because I thought the Mystics was gonna win that.
And then the Wings and the Suns, the battle of the worst. The Wings beat the Suns 86 to 83.
Yep.
And then the Storm beat the Aces 90 to 83 last night. And the headline for the women's NBA is "What's wrong with the Aces?"
I can tell you what's wrong with the Aces. Their time is up. They had their run. They won them 2 back-to-back championships. They did good.
That's
now,
who RJ Wilson plays for, ain't it?
Yeah. Now
still hurt.
As far as I know, she's still hurt. But we're gonna look them scores up in a minute because I don't think she played in that Storm game. I don't think she was in there. I think she was still hurt.
Yeah. I can tell you real fast too. I'll look at this right here. No, let's see. No, she played.
Oh, she did.
Oh crap! And I didn't have her in my lineup either.
Yeah.
She had 20 points, 14 boards, and 3 blocks.
But here's the thing. This is what the Aces' problem is, and this is why Kelsey Plum, she said this when she went to L.A. She's tired of being a side player. She wants to be, she wants to be the scorer. She wants to be the main. She wants to run the offense through her. That's why she went to the Sparks. That's why she left, the Aces, because, she was just behind A'ja Wilson. She was her shadow. But here's the thing. She can't do it by herself. No. Yes, she had 20 points, 3 blocks. How many rebounds?
14.
14. That is stellar play. That's MVP play for somebody. But the rest of the team is garbage, pretty much. Yeah, I know you got what's her name?
I'll go to box.
Alicia somebody. I forgot her last name. She's been there, but she's been there for a while, and it's not working. They need to get some players around her.
All right, Wilson. Hold on, let me get down here. Okay, she had 20 points. She had 14 rebounds. Now, Jackie Young had 22 points. Lloyd had 15, and then Nye off the bench had 13 points. So, and they are only going 4 deep on the bench. And they've got all the other players that didn't play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, hold up right here. Gustafson, or how you say her, she had a leg injury, so she didn't play. And the other 3 didn't play because of coach's decision.
Right.
But that's where they're at. Jackie Young, which I don't know if she was 8 of 13 shooting. Lloyd was 5 of 11 shooting, and then A'ja Wilson had 6 of 11. So
I don't know. I think Lloyd might be done. I think Lloyd, because she transferred, she was part of the trade. She came over from Seattle, and I think her numbers are up. I think she's got about 10 years in the league.
And then tonight you had a final. Mercury beat the Sky 107-86. The Sky's probably done. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're 3.
That's the one I wanted to talk about.
And wasn't Mercury? They wasn't that good last year, were they?
No, they weren't that good last year.
They're 11-4 this year.
Yeah, they're doing way better than what I thought they was going to do.
But I'm going to go to this box score because their top. It shows right now their top scorer, Thomas. She had 11 points, 8 assists. That's their top performance. I mean, Mercury. I mean, let's see what their stats look like here.
The scores was pretty much spread out.
So yeah, so right here you go. You've got, and I don't know why they have her as the top performer because because
Sabato had more. Sabali had more than her. I think Sabali had 15.
Sabali had 15. Cooper had 16. And hold on, they got somebody on the bench here. You got Whitcomb had 17. You had Laxa, she had 11. You had Brown that had 11 on the bench. So they had some scoring. They're getting production throughout their lineup. And here's the thing, and it don't matter if it's men's or women's. When you're getting production throughout your lineup, them are teams it's hard to beat.
Yes, that's true. But here's the Sky's problem. This is the one thing I was looking for. There's been a lot of people calling for Coach Marsh's firing. I think I'm finna join the crew because the reason why, because number one, as a coach, this part is, a lot of people is also talking about, because I was all over the internet today, and a lot of people say, well, it's not the coach's fault. The players lost the game, which I'll agree with that. But it's a 50-50 because the coach sets the identity. This team has no identity. Who is your star player? Is it going to be Camila Cardoso, the one you drafted at number 3? You drafted her ahead of Angel Reese. Angel Reese didn't get drafted until number 7. So who is the star? Is it Camila Cardoso or is it Angel Reese? This team have no identity. They have no idea where they're running the offense through. Now Camila Cardosa. Now here's also another next problem. And this part I'm gonna put on the players. They have tension between each other. They can say, "Oh, we one big whole family," but no, you ain't. I can see it through the numbers. Camila Cardosa, she has 17 points. That's not bad for WNBA. That's not bad at all, especially for a starting center. She's the tallest one on the court, but she only had 3 rebounds. She had 0 assists. Now let's go talk about the NBA for a minute. Let's think about Patrick Ewing back in the day. What would they say if Patrick Ewing put up a game where he only had 3 rebounds?
That would not be good.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 3 rebounds. Bill Russell, 3 rebounds. You can't do that. And then Angel Reese, she had 9. I think she had 9 points, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds, from what I can remember. And it's just like the tension that they got between it. They don't have any assists. That's where they're lacking. They don't get the assists. They need to pass the ball, but they don't want to pass the ball to each other. It's like, oh, that bitch ain't outshine me. No, they got to stop that.
I got Angel Reese. I got her regular season stats up right now. She's averaging 11 points per game, 11.7 rebounds per game, 3.6 assists, 1.6 steal. So, truly, this was all blew up when she was drafted. Is she a franchise player? I mean, think about it. Is she your franchise player? Is that what you want to hang your franchise on?
That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. They don't have the identity. A lot of people, like the media and everybody, will say, well, Angel Reese. We always talk about Angel Reese. But the reason why we're really talking about Angel Reese is because the drama and the tension that Angel Reese had between her and Caitlin Clark. That's the only reason. Exactly. That's the only reason why Angel Reese is relevant. Because if it wasn't for her and Caitlin Clark having that little tension between them, folks would never know who Angel Reese was.
All right, you're talking about Camila Cardoso.
Yep.
All right. She's averaging 11.5 points per game. 0.4 more than Angel Reese.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and you look, if you go down through here, man, yeah, she had 17 points that game tonight. Hold on. Yeah, I think she had 17.
Yeah, she had 17.
She had 17 with on Onawana or where she had 17.
Yep.
As well. But, I mean, like you said, that team has no identity. There is nothing, and I mean, and to make a comparison to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, it's not even fair to Caitlin Clark.
It's not.
It's a disgrace unless Caitlin Clark has a big fall off till next year. I mean, she started out hurt, but she's doing decent now. But there's no comparison. All right, let me go ahead and bring this up. Let me go back here. Okay. Let's see. I think they played Thursday, didn't the Fever?
Yeah, when they played the Valkyries. Yeah, because I watched that game, that horrible game.
Yeah, like Valkyries beat the Fever 88-77 that game. I'm gonna go bring something up right here, and we'll do some comparison. Clark, that was probably one of her worst games.
Yep, she only had. I think she had like 11 points.
Yeah, 11 points is what she had. I'm trying to, if the computer would, there he goes. All right. Now, she's been out hurt, okay? She missed, 3 or 4 games? Something like that?
Like 4. I think it was 4.
She's averaging 19.9 points per game, 5.7 boards. Ain't bad for a guard.
Nope.
8.7 assists and 1.3 steal. I think she can bring her steals up a little more than that. I mean, being a guard, maybe 3, 4, averaging 3 or 4 steals a game.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no comparison. I mean, stop comparing Angel Reese to her. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no sense in it. And who's that rookie played for? It was all about Buckner. Is that her name?
Paige Buckner is the one that's playing for Dallas.
Dallas Wings. That's right.
And this is not Paige's fault because Paige really hasn't said anything. But a lot of people just been saying, "Oh yeah, Paige is gonna be better than Caitlyn. She's gonna be better than Caitlyn." But Caitlyn won Rookie of the Year hands down because her only competition was, and it really shouldn't have been competition, was Angel Reese. And like I say, Angel Reese was jazzed up. But here, Paige Buckner, she has competition. You got Sonia Citron. You got Kiki Irfan. You also got, and here's the one I got to look up. I just found out the other day. Somebody told me, and I said I got to look it up. The Atlanta Dream. They starting point guard. She's Hawaiian. Her last name's Pow Pow. She's supposed to be a rookie. I thought she was in her second year, but she's supposed to be a rookie. I didn't verify it, but if she's also a rookie, then she's competition for that Rookie of the Year.
Well, right now, I got Paige Buckner's stats up. Not bad. I don't know what Caitlin Clark averaged her rookie year. I could probably bring it up. Right now, Paige Buckner's is averaging 18 points a game. That's not bad.
Caitlin was averaging 19 when she won hers.
All right. There's still time in there's still,
Oh, yeah, there's still games. But I got the one thing.
They're almost halfway through, ain't they? Yeah, they are halfway.
No, they're only about 25% because they only played about like 12, 13 games, and they got to do 44.
Oh, they 44?
Yeah, they moved it up this year to 44. So they're about like 25% in.
She's averaging 4 boards a game, which, I mean, she's a guard. 5.8 assists a game and 2.1 steals.
And you know what? The one thing that's hurting her, she missed 4 games. Caitlin Clark, her rookie year, played all her games.
Yeah. So if you're going to do some comparisons, won't you do that?
Yeah. So that's Paige's problem. Paige can't stay healthy because she missed games at UConn too. Paige has been injury prone, where Caitlin has not. This is like her first time. They was talking about her when she was injured this time. She still wanted to play, but it was, team decision and said, nah, you're not playing. You're going to heal that calf. And it was like they pulled her out, but that was like the first time she's been pulled out since high school is what they said. She's never missed a game in college, which I still got to go back and verify because, I get my nose from Instagram. So some of that's not true. But if they're true, she's never missed a game since high school. That's durability. And, to an extent, just looking at Caitlin, I can see that in her. And Paige, you don't have that same drive.
All right, well, the game's on tomorrow. The Sky's going to lose again. They play the Dream tomorrow at 3.
Oh, yeah, they're done.
The Mystics played the Wings.
Mystics got it. Mystics get the bounce back.
And then the Fever play the Aces. This is a pivotal game for them too, I think. Fever's 6-6. Aces are 5-7.
Yeah.
The Liberty play the Storm. The Liberty's 10-2. Storm 8-5. And then you got the Suns and the Valkyries.
The Suns are done. Valkyrie gonna take that.
2-11. They're done. They are done. And here's the standings right now. Going over the standings. Leading the league at 11-1 is Minnesota. Then New York Liberty, Phoenix Mercury at 11-4. Liberty, New York Liberty is 10-2. Lynx is 11-1. Mercury it's 11-4. The Dream 9-4. Storm is 8-5. Valkyrie 6-6. Fever 6-6. Aces 5-7. And the Mystics at 5-8. And the rest of them are just sorry.
Yep.
The Sparks 4-9, the Sky 3-9, the Wings 3-11, and the Suns 2-11. And I'm going to tell you right now. Let's see here. I'm going to pick 2 teams. Okay.
Okay.
If they make the playoffs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right now they're sitting in the 7th and 8th seeds right now. They're the ones I think look out come playoff time. And that's the Fever and the Aces. Okay?
Yeah.
When it come playoff time, if they get it together, which I think Fever is. Fever, I mean, yeah, Caitlin out 4 games. I still think Fever will get it going. But that's 2 teams there with Aces got Ajay Wilson, and them two teams could be ones to make some upsets starting in the first round of the women's NBA playoffs.
To an extent, I have some problems. That's my team. I thought the Fever was going to go all the way. But the last few games that I've watched, I've noticed some holes in there. What you call it? It's like me and you was talking the other day. We weren't on air, but we was talking the other day when we was at work. This experiment with the read and react offense, it don't work. It is the main reason why they have so many turnovers. Everybody talking about Caitlin Clark turnovers. But first, you got to realize the position she plays. She played the number one spot. Number one guard usually has a lot of turnovers because you are responsible for the offense. You are the quarterback of this team, and you got to get to distribute the ball to all these other people. It's not your fault as you're passing the ball that they're out of position. They don't know it's coming. They just lollygagging on the court, just like half-ass running down there, oh well, I'm just in here for a few more minutes, and you passing the ball, and they don't even get it, and it goes out of bounds. That turnover is on Caitlin because she passed it to him. It's not her fault they can't catch it. It should be the way they should do turnovers. If I pass you the ball and you touch it and it go out of bounds, or you touch it and the other team get it, that turnover should be on you, not on the passer.
Nope. Unless it's a bad pass, like a real bad pass.
Right. But then also, their big person, Aaliyah Boston, I gotta tear her game up. She is great offensively. She's pretty good offensively. Defensively, how are you a center? You cannot defend. She is always fouling out. Easy fouls. I mean, like, she just fouled out in that Valkyrie game. And I was watching somebody, I forgot on the podcast, they was mad because she picked up her fifth foul, and it was like 10 minutes into the fourth. I mean, not 10 minutes. It was about probably 8 minutes into the fourth, and she picked up her fifth foul, and they had to sit her down and talk about something. They set her down for 5 minutes. That was too long. It's like as soon as she got back in the game, they got back in the game with 3 minutes left, and she fouled out before the game was over. I mean, like, she can't defend. There's a lot of them on that team that cannot defend. They's like, ooh, this is a score. This is a score. We got all these scores. Natasha Howard is horrible. She cannot defend. She cannot hit basic. They call them bunnies. It's just a little one jump and you lay the ball up. One jump, lay the ball in. They are missing those left and right. And it's not just Natasha Howard that's missing those. Aaliyah Boston been missing some of those too. They are horrible. And then they get to the line. Why is it you can't hit a free throw? Okay, I get the three-pointers. Three-pointers are a little bit harder. You're back 24 feet. That's a little bit harder. But you should have been working on this since junior high, hitting free throws. That free throw line ain't never moved. Why you can't hit free throws?
That's one of the easiest shots in basketball, I think. And
nobody's pressuring you. Nobody's on you. You just standing in one spot. You should just the free throw. You should be able to hit that.
There's no pressure. That's the problem.
I guess so. But it's just like, and I give it to Kelsey Mitchell. But Kelsey Mitchell, she's a lot of this problem too. She said during that last press conference, she said they were soft. And yeah, that's right. They are soft. And then that's why when they get to all these teams that want to play them, like when they played the Connecticut Sun and they jumped on Caitlin and everything, and they pushing, they doing all these hard fouls on Caitlin, is because they know that team is soft. The only thing Sophie did when Sophie slammed down Sheldon and got ejected, that was about the only thing. It's going to have to take a couple more times, and somebody else is going to have to step up and get ejected. You have to get a couple of ejections, and then you can But I see the reason why they play Caitlin like that, because they know Caitlin's the GOAT. And you know why? Because they did the same stuff to Jordan. When Jordan was David, especially in Detroit, you come down there, we gonna bust you up.
Yeah, I know a lot of people probably get tired of us mentioning Jordan. Just remember, we wasn't Jordan fans growing up. Neither
sure
one.
Could not stand Jordan.
Couldn't stand because he won, and he won all the time. And let me tell you what,
Exactly.
and this is to me why he's the GOAT. You didn't talk trash to him. You talked trash to him, he made you pay. He didn't run his mouth back. He gave you that look like Tom Brady did. When Tom Brady gave you that look, it was on, game's on. That's
Yeah, I know.
what separates the greatest players from your average players. They don't trash talk. They don't run that mouth. They go do their talking on the field or on the court, and that's what MJ did.
Mm-hmm.
Watch highlights. Watch stories from the players that played against him that had teammates. They told them, "You don't trash talk Jordan," and they go and do it, and they didn't know it, and then Jordan dropped 50 or 60.
Yep. They got
So,
tortured.
um, but yeah, that so we was never, just to clarify that up and clear that up. We was never MJ fans. So growing up, so we're just giving him his due process. I mean, he's the GOAT. It's just, I mean, by all means, you, like I said when we had Judo on here, you could take away the championships, and he still accomplished more than any other players ever accomplished.
Yeah.
When you go stat wise, when we go clutch time, he was clutch. Never played a game 7 in the NBA Finals. He was 6-0. So, but we done got off on the subject there. But let's move right along. We're getting. Let's go to some baseball scores in the MLB. Right now, in the top of the 7th in Philly, you got the Mets. The Mets is beating the Phillies 7-4. Out in San Diego, the Padres are beating the Royals in the it's the mid 8th, 5-1. Top of the 2nd in Colorado, the Rockies are beating the Diamondbacks 2-1. The Astros and the Angels will be first pitch at 9:38 in Anaheim. The Guardians are in Oakland playing the Athletics at 10:05, and then the Dodgers will be playing the Nationals at 10:10 in LA. Here's some finals. The Braves beat the Tigers in Tampa Bay 8-3. Yankees beat the Orioles at home 9-0. The Brewers beat Minnesota in Minnesota 9-0. Cardinals over the Reds 6-5. Cubs beat the Mariners 10-7. Blue Jays over the White Sox 7-1. Rangers over the Pirates 3-2. The Giants beat the Red Sox in San Francisco 3-2, and my Braves beat the Marlins 7-0. And they both had, well, they're both not doing good in that division. Just put it that
Right.
way. That's a rundown of Major League. In college, they're in the College World Series. Game 1 is right now, and it's in the top of the 9th. It's Coastal Carolina and LSU. Remember, LSU, West Virginia had a chance to knock them out, but they
Yep.
didn't. LSU's up 1-0, but LSU's got a stellar pitching staff, and you got to have pitching to win championships in baseball. You just got to have the pitching. And they're up 1-0, top of the 9th. So right now, Coastal Carolina has to score to keep that game going, and that's game 1.
Yep.
So that's a rundown of baseball right now. I don't really know if there's any NFL news really going to be going on right now.
No.
But you know, okay. I don't know. I mean, you see where the news coming out of Cleveland with Sanders. Well, and it's
Oh, I forgot about that.
if it's the same thing. Here's my phone. Okay, and that's the thing about being an athlete and somebody in the spotlight. Cited twice this month for speeding. Who cares? Who cares? Unless he was doing 20, 30 miles over, who cares?
He was. I know this last one. I don't know about the first time, but this last one, they say he was doing 101 when he got clocked at 101.
101. Oh, God.
Yeah, he is. What you call it? He lucky if it wasn't for the fact of who he is, because I was a cop. Should have been throwing him in jail. That's reckless driving.
Man, well, he is in Cleveland, so he's gonna get he's gonna get in trouble. But let's see. Like I said, there ain't much. Holy cow! Cowboys cheerleaders. Did you see that?
Oh, they got a 400% raise.
Yeah, pay raise.
Yeah,
That's because
might as
I was
well.
really. Yeah,
The players don't need it. They ain't winning. Give them the money.
but yeah, there. I mean, there ain't much going on in NFL news right now. I mean, there's really much to talk about. We're just sitting here waiting a couple months down the road. So actually,
Yeah.
we're like 2 months away. About 2 months
Yep.
away.
About 2 months.
In college, the countdown begins.
Speaking of college, you want to tell a story that you heard the other day? I thought it was rather interesting.
What's that, Judah?
Yeah.
I wish I would have knew. I wish I would have heard this story
When he was
before
on.
he
Yeah.
was on to ask him about it. Now, this is coming from second and third hand source, and I'd love to been there to see it or whatever. Now, I will say this: I did get to watch the spring game this year. Last year's spring game when Judah was in WU, the times he touched the ball, they couldn't touch him. It was boom, boom, boom. It was he was gone. Well, I heard a story. Like I said, it's coming from second, third hand. That all right, Owen Smith used to play for West Virginia back when they had them good runs in 3 or 4 years. So he has some ties. He goes up there and stuff. And he
He
said,
was there when Pat McAfee was there, right?
"Yeah, that's right. Pat McAfee, it's Steve Slayton, uh, Pat White. Because when Steve Slayton was a running back, you had Owen Smith was a fullback who can run like a 4.6 40 or something like that. It was funny because when he broke that long run in the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma, they said there goes a runaway beer truck. He was beast, and you couldn't catch him. But anyway, I guess supposedly what the word was, he was up there watching from the sideline with the team and everything. And the running back that they brought in, I guess he wasn't catching on with the plays. So Rodriguez got mad. He yelled at Judah, grabbed him by the face mask, get him over here. I'd like to ask Judah about this. And said, Judah, you know the play. He said, yes, sir. He said, get in there. Runs the play 60 yards to the house.
First string offense,
Yeah,
first
I'm the
string
first,
defense.
and runs it to the house. I wish I'd have knew that to ask him about that when he was on a couple weeks ago. But I'm excited for him, Marshall. I am. It's going to be uh, something to watch, and if he gets, hopefully he can get in and everything else. So we'll see what happens. I'll be making maybe a couple trips to Marshall. That's a little closer than WU, so I can still go to the games, have my wife drive me, and then still go into work that night. So, but I guess that's it right now as far as any sports news. You got anything else?
I got nothing. I was like, I'm running dry. I got no sports news.
All right, I mentioned something to you, and usually we don't talk much about it. You know, I mean, this is Vet Plus Sports. We're veterans and stuff. But there's something I said. I had some military stuff I was going to bring up. We can talk about at the end of this segment, this
Hmm.
episode. You notice, I mean, what's going on in the Middle East and everything else. Uh, if which I mean, to me, which like I said, I don't watch our news here in mainstream news media because I learned from going to Iraq. Uh, they're going to report what they want. So I've got certain news apps like I-24 News and some other stuff. It comes to my phone, but just seeing what's going on. I don't know how much is actually being reported on our mainstream news media because I don't watch it here. But
Yeah, I don't watch it either. I watch. I get glimpses every now and then. I'll take a peek, or I'll check on. I'll be on YouTube and somebody will be saying something. But go ahead and say what you gotta say, because you know what, I gotta add on to that, because something happened today that they really what you call it, and I really want to put it out because it's nerve wracking. But go ahead and finish where you go where you's at.
okay, I've noticed. Me and you talked about this. The military strategies has changed over the years. The war has
Mm-hmm.
changed. Um, you got boots on the ground years ago. Even when I was in Iraq, you had boots on the ground. Now it's all switching over to technology, which
Yep.
to me is kind of a good thing as far as having soldiers boots on the ground. Like now over there in Israel and stuff, what's going on, and even with the U.S. don't have to put boots on the ground no more. You
Yep.
know, we can use your brothers and sisters, the Navy. We can use them. Don't have to put boots on the ground. And I'll tell you like this, you know, Israel's taking a lot of slack, but Israel is precise on their where they're hitting. They're just not just going blowing up, killing everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're what I've been watching and seeing. They are precise on their targets because they don't want those innocent casualties. But it has changed from the years past. What I want to bring up and everything, and I don't think a lot of people realize they're in the Middle East. Iran is the head of everything that's going on with the insurgents. It's all around the area and the
It's the
world.
head of the snake.
It's the head of the snake. So what do you do to get rid of that snake? You cut the head off. And
Mm-hmm.
this has been years coming, and a lot of people's going to maybe disagree with us on this, but you got to take out the head, okay? And this had been years coming, and it needed to be done a long time ago. But they're the ones providing the money, which you got Russia funneling stuff into Iran, you got China funneling stuff in Iran, but Iran's the head there in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to say this: what a lot of people didn't realize before Israel attacked, they were 2 weeks away from launching a nuclear missile in Israel. Iran was 2 weeks away before that attack, before Israel took out one of their nuclear facilities. All right. Well, we hit that again today. 3 different ones. U.S. hit that today. It came to my phone.
Mm-hmm.
They hit 3 nuclear facilities to take them out. So, which now their capability is done went down as far as launching, getting them out. Um, but you know they're probably still working on stuff which we're monitoring that. We monitor. That's what and countries don't realize, and there's a reason why it's called third world country. But we're monitoring them from space. We see what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
If they see movement, like you mentioned, talking about the stuff they have underground, I'd say they once they and then they may start seeing it now. When they see movement from the satellites, then they're going to move, and that's probably what happened today. Reason they did what they did, they was probably moving that uranium like you was talking about. Maybe they try to start moving it out. Maybe that's the reason they started getting
Yeah,
on. Yeah,
because what they're gonna do is, since their plans for the nuclear missile is out, they can take what enriched uranium they got, they can get it out, and they can pass that to Hamas or somebody to do a
yeah.
dirty bomb somewhere else.
When I will say
But
this, you got Hamas, which is a terrorist group. I know over here in the United States they portray them different. It's a terrorist group, Hamas, Hezbollah, whatever you say. The other one,
Hezbollah, yep,
Hezbollah.
Hezbollah,
Well, Israel has done took out all their connections, their leaders from Iran that was behind funding Hamas and all them. There is that's all been taken out. That's when I
yep,
was talking about precise. Israel's precise on who they take out. They don't want to take innocent people and casualties. Um, but a lot of that stuff is going. I mean, that's what's going. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, me and you are history buffs. Okay,
mm-hmm.
we like history. I don't know if people we mentioned this. So and I'm big with the Bible. I mean, the Bible's history is what it's. I mean,
Right,
it's a if you want to, and you see everything unfolding that's going on there. This is all history. It's unfolding and it's going on there in the Middle East, and I'm following it. But and I done lost my train of thought with that. But with this, that's
I
been.
do that all the time.
But following that and what's going on over there with this, a lot of people is going to disagree. But Israel, what happened on October 7th, and we haven't talked about this since that happened, and we've been doing this a year. There was a lot of stuff that happened there that a lot of people didn't realize. I mean, it's just like being here in the U.S. and a festival was going on. Um, Now you got Saturday in Israel is their Sabbath day,
Right, yep,
like our Sunday here in the Western civilization is our. Well, we treat it as a Sabbath, but actually it's the first day of the week. But Saturday in Israel is their Sabbath.
mm-hmm.
So, okay, what people don't realize, the Jewish people, they put down all weapons and everything. There's nothing. So it's like a holy day. So they was attacked on their holy day when they was vulnerable. When when that attack happened, which Iran was behind that with Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
Iran funneled all that and everything else. They beheaded a bunch of innocent babies. There was, I don't know how many babies. They went and beheaded, they killed innocent people, but people are still saying Israel was they're the bad people for doing what they did. Um but the head, what we mentioned there, Iran is the head of the snake for all the funneling there in the Middle East and what's going on. Even when I was in Iraq, when I was over there, we knew Iran had. I'm gonna tell you this, and a lot of people say, "Well, why don't you watch the news or mainstream news media?" And I don't care if it's CNN, Fox, I mean, all of them, ABC, you name them. I don't watch them, and CNN's the worst. I mean, they're the worst to watch as far as their stories. But when I was boots on the ground, we watched that, seen what we was getting into before we got boots on the ground, and everything they were reporting was total opposite of what was going on there. And while we was there, they was reporting there in Iraq, reporting saying in Iraq that there was no connection to Afghanistan. I can't think of the group. Al Qaeda.
Al
Al Qaeda.
Qaeda.
Yeah, Al Qaeda and Iraq. There was no connections to them. That's what was being reported back to here in the United States. Well, guess what we found when we done raids on houses? Phone numbers of Al Qaeda in Iraq, but there's no connections. All right, they found when we was there, they found evidence that they did have weapons of mass destruction there, but they moved them to where probably Iran. They probably gave them to Iran. Iraq did. Who knows wherever they moved them. We found stuff when we were there, but all this stuff was being reported and all that wasn't there. So that's the reason and I was young then. I was 23. When I got back, I quit watching our mainstream news media because of that. It don't come on in my house because of that. Like I said, I got I-24 News app. I got the Newsmax. I got them other stuff that I'll just to follow, keep up. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, our mainstream news media has got out of left field on reporting. They're going to report what's going to sell, whether it's a lie or a miss. They not even a lie, just twisted something around to sell. They're going to report it.
That's like YouTube clickbait. Well, that's what I was going to get at. This is what I wanted to talk about. Now, I will say this because that's what I learned about. Before we get on air, what I usually do is I'll pull up and I'll look at some podcasts on YouTube and see what they're saying and see what they're putting out. See if I agree with this person or if I disagree with this person. So I want to be on track. I want to be on my best game when I get on here. So when I was doing that, when I was pulling it up, they had the videos that said we had bombed Iran and everything. And I clicked on this one dude's video, and he was just talking with this other guy, and they was chatting, and he said during the video, and he found out that we had bombed Iran. So he's like, oh, I just got to go live with this right now. And he said his son was 17, and his son said, does this mean I'm going to get drafted? I'm like, come on now. Why are y'all pushing this BS? I mean, like, right now, there, I know we still selective service. You turn 18, you go to the post office, and you register. But that's just a thing that they do. They're not going to reinstall the draft again because there's no need. Our military is at the size that right now is too big. They've been trying to put people out. They got people trying to go in there and enlist to get into the military, and they can't get in. So I mean, like, when you have a volunteer army, they know not to draft. They know the draft didn't work with Vietnam
Well,
because you got people that don't want to fight. What are they going to do when they get over there? They not going to fight. What the hell are you going to do to them?
The war's changed. It's like we just mentioned. It's changed so much. You don't really have to have boots on the ground like when you're doing what you're
Exactly.
doing. You hit the spots you need. You don't have to have boots on the ground to get soldiers killed, to have innocent lives in between. Because let me tell you what people don't realize. Because when I do my online degree, let me tell you, I say 90% or 85 of the percent of the people live in this country has been sheltered. They don't know what goes on in these third world countries. These people, these terrorists and they over there, they don't care about them civilians over there. They will use them for shields. I'm gonna tell you how it works over there. Okay, just for instance, ran into guys that was doing our training there in Fort Bragg when we went over. They just had got back from over there. Okay, so they was training us, and They had this. When you went over there, you had Iraqi kids everywhere on the streets. They come running to you, Mister, Mister. They wanted you to give them candy. We give them stuff. Give them one wanted an ink pen off of my IBA. I gave him an ink pen. He went around and running. I got a pen and stuff or whatever. So the Iraqi children was interacting with us daily. Okay, if we was out and about, we didn't see Iraqi children on the streets. You better look out. Something bad was going to happen. But they noticed this one kid one day and everything else. They played ball with him. They had a football. They throw football with him. I don't know how old he is, 8, 9, 10, or whatever. They would play with him. And they noticed one day, and this is how evil those people are over there. That little boy didn't come out running to him. He slowly come out walking, and he was crying. Okay? He had tears running down his eyes, and they got to looking, and he had been strapped by the insurgents, strapped him with a bomb. That's how cruel and people are over there when they don't care about the civilian people over there. When ISIS strapped him with the bomb and they had to take that little boy out because it was either them or the little boy. So that's what
Right.
people don't realize about over there. I mean, them people were ruthless. They don't care about us. They hate this country. I mean, that's why they chant death to America all the time. They hate our civilization and our way of life. They don't like our freedom that we have. But them people don't care, man. When they go and they'll kill an innocent kid like that, I mean, that's what people don't realize in this country. We've been sheltered in this country. And this ain't, I mean, we got this country, we say the real world. The real world's over there in the third world country in the Middle East. That's the
Yeah.
real world. I mean, when they hate, I mean, they talk about hate in this country, which the news media, to me, people are going to disagree with me. News media blows up hate in this country to try to spin it to have news. Them people have hate in that country over there. I mean, they'll kill you in an instant. When you go and kill a little child, or like what they did on October 7th a few years ago in Israel, and you start beheading a bunch of little babies, I mean, that's hate. I mean, that's evil. That's cruel. I mean, but a lot of people, man, they don't see that until you go over there and see that stuff, man. It's eye opener. It was for me at 22 and 23 years old. I
Right.
mean, to see, like, all right, man, this is. I'm glad I went to see it because it was an eye opener for me. I'm not like the majority here that ain't seen it. I mean, you was on a ship and everything else in Desert Storm or Desert Shield or whatever, but
There's a storm.
Desert Storm. But I mean, once you get over and start seeing this stuff, it's an eye opener. Man, we are blessed to be in this country.
That's true. True statement.
I mean, because we can go out. I mean, people take for granted we have the freedom to go out and do whatever. Go on vacation. Go out to the grocery store. Not. I mean, yeah. We've had some crazy stuff in the last 15, 20 years. People shooting stuff up, but for the most part, that goes on every day over there. Every day. When we was there in Iraq, we was getting mortars 3 times a day. Dinner time chow. You knew 3 mortars was coming every day. That's how it is over there. That's all they know. They've known it for years.
Yep.
But that's their lifestyle. But people say, well, we shouldn't interfere and get and react. Let me tell you, by taking out those nuclear plants, that saved this country. Okay, we take that out, and like you talked about, make them get rid of that uranium. We don't want them sending that to China. We don't want them sending that to Russia, which Russia don't have nothing now. Ukraine depleted Russia, but
Yeah, pretty much.
they deplete that. So you don't want Iran sending that uranium over to China or wherever, because China and Iran are allies. So, but I mean, there's stuff that's going on there. I just wanted to mention that. Usually we don't get on this too much.
Yeah,
Uh,
we don't, but it was one of those things that we had to discuss because, like I said, I wanted to discuss that because I don't want folks out there just thinking that automatically since we bombed it, they're like, oh, because, my youngest is 17. And I don't want them to think, oh, I'm going to get drafted. No, you're not.
my
No, you're
daughter's
not. Don't even think
21.
that.
She's 21 because when they were at one time talking, well, the draft, and everything else, and I just told her at the time, I said, if they go to start drafting, I said, you know what you do? Okay, I said, I said, you enlist into the branch you want to be in.
Exactly.
I said, you go enlist in Air Force. Here I am, an Army guy, and I know I'm going to get a lot of slack for that. But anybody asks me, If it's a family member or anything, I tell them I go Air Force or go Navy.
Yeah, because you
I
know what we
mean,
do? We push buttons. We push buttons and stuff launch, and that's what we do. We push buttons.
well, we're at that hour mark there, Beans. It went pretty quick,
Oh, it did.
but you got anything else?
Nope.
We had anybody tune in tonight? What you got?
We got 12 right now.
Well, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in tonight. Like we always do at the end of each episode. There's a quick number you can dial 988 if you're thinking about harming or hurting yourself, and then dial 1. That's the Veteran Crisis Line, where it's 1-800-273-8255. That quick number 988 will get you there quicker and have to dial all those numbers. You'll get the help you need, or you always go to your local VA if you're here in the United States somewhere around a VA. Go to your local VA medical center, go to the ER, tell them you need some help. They'll
Yep.
have somebody there on call to come talk to you and utilize that resources that they have at the VA. There's a lot of resources there that veterans don't know about. And they do have them.
Right. And like we say, even if you're a civilian, dial that 988 and they'll get you in touch with the people that you need to be in touch
Yeah,
with.
they'll transfer you to wherever. But yeah, that's all I have. Beans, you got anything else?
That's all I had.
Well, y'all have a good night. Stay safe, and hopefully we will be on the audio this week.
I
Um,
know.
but we'll try to get the audio going back up like we all have been. And y'all have a good night.
Alrighty.